Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining a late night episode of Guardian Group Services. They've got a special guest, someone I have been looking forward to having on for a very long time. The folks at Patriotware Holsters. I am so excited to talk about them and what they do, the type of products that they have. They have some really, really great items. Once again, like, share, subscribe, do all of the cool things the kids are doing on YouTube these days. If you have any questions throughout, please type them in the chat. We will post them on there. Once again, my name is Charles McNamara. I am the director of Guardian Group Services, doing a fun nighttime podcast. Really looking forward to this. Oh, here we go. Michelle, Matt, good evening.
Hello.
How we doing?
Happy Friday. I mean, you guys are just like closing down the shop, like literally from one job to like another. You're nonstop.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So for the folks that may not be familiar with you guys and what you do, tell everybody about yourselves, where you're from, the type of work that you're doing. We got a bunch of questions lined up for you that we got from the public, but tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Matt and I are married. We're husband and wife team.
Business owners.
We make holsters, custom holsters, or we have a standard run, but we make them, we manufacture, and we retail. We do all kinds of colors and patterns. We do inside, outside appendix. We also sell other carry needs, such as weapon lights.
We do weapon lights. We do mag carriers. We do tourniquet carriers, flashlight holders, handcuff carriers,
Belts.
We stock and manufacture duty gear.
Mm-hmm. All kinds of stuff.
There's a lot of things.
It's, like we would say in Brooklyn, whatever you need, we got.
Yeah.
Exactly. You have the gun, we have everything else.
And that's what I wanted to talk to you about, because I found your company when I started my journey as a concealed carrier. I didn't know anything about anything. I was in the military. I know how to shot a rifle. I've shot a rifle. I know how to shoot, but very different for duty training to civilian concealed carry training. We'll talk about training a little bit later, but I want to talk about the products, because the gear is very important to your mission, where if you're law enforcement or in security, you're kind of going after gremlins down dark alleys. Whereas if you're a citizen, a concealed carry citizen, your focus is more on defensive, getting out of that situation. For folks that have any questions or just want to get something custom made, definitely check it out. I've had a few products for my Glocks made up. Love it. It's got the branding. We'll talk about your brand in just a minute, because I'm a fan of the Minuteman. We were just talking about that. But folks, if you need to email them, patriotwareholsters.com. And for the folks that have questions now, feel free, type them. I will pop them up on the screen. But your branding, right? We'll talk about the Minuteman. How did you get started in the business? How did the idea come about where you wanted to get in the holster game? Because there's a lot of competition out there, but you're very unique in what you do.
Well, I worked on the retail side. So I worked in a gun store. And more times than not, people would come in and say they didn't carry because they couldn't find a holster they liked. Mm-hmm. I was in the same boat. I could not find a holster that was comfortable. So an acquaintance of mine was starting to make some just as a hobby. And I was like, oh, okay, I need to learn about this. So I started making them and helping him, and then kind of making stuff that would work that I thought was comfortable. So not totally what he was doing. I kind of came up with kind of what I wanted to do on my own. Mm-hmm. And then about 3 years later, I had made a couple for friends and this kind of stuff, and I took some time off. And about 3 years later, I decided I wanted to really do this. A lot of people were asking for holsters, and they loved what I was doing. So my husband had a full-time job, and so I approached him and said, I want to do this. And he said, go for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now it's
So
got to
we
be
set,
you both work together on the shop floor, or you work in sales, one's working shop.
no, we
Well,
have it separated, but we are
we do
together.
both.
He does production management. I do business management, but they cross like this all day long. Like, and I do a lot of the standard runs. He does the customs. So, and then he'll help with the standards when I get inundated with, I'm trying to keep up with inventory. But we have separate roles, but it's a small business. We all do everything.
I definitely know the feeling. I'm the director of operations. I feel like I am involved in everything in the business, which is good because sometimes you have to be involved in every little aspect to meet your client's needs.
Well,
I,
and
I wa-
there's times he gets stuck on custom. He's trying to figure out how to make it work. And I can look at it and go, well, did you try this? There's times where I look at what he does and I don't have a clue how he's doing it. And I'll go explain that to me so I can understand. So we work really well.
Gotcha. So, the first thing I want to show, it's on your postcard. So we actually have been giving these out in our training classes for those who take the concealed carry or armed guard training. Great products. We'll get into the specifics, but tell the folks a little bit, just about this setup right here.
I'll leave that to you.
Well, we offer multiples. We offer what's called a duty mid drop, and that's sits on the belt. It drops about where your front pocket is.
The bottom ones.
The bottom left and the bottom right. You can either have with level 2 deployable hood strap that goes across the top backside of the firearm, or you can have it left open without that level 2 security. Some people ask for it, some people don't. We also offer the thigh rig, which is the top left. Can be set up the same way as the bottom 2 holsters. You can have it in level 2, you can have it in level 1. A lot of people use those for armed security, blue cards, off duty
Training classes.
A lot of people use them for training classes. And the top right, it's a chest rig. Around this area in this state, it was very popular with guys who rode motorcycles. So they have it one-handed usage while still being able to use the handlebar controls. Connecticut went to an open carry ban, so now it's primarily used by people who are hiking, going out in the woods,
Sure.
Things like that. So they still have,
You put a sweatshirt on with a zipper
an
or a
open
shirt.
hand they can use.
Yep.
We talked about this originally when I first, for my first custom, you had asked me, what side, how you're going to wear it, inside, outside.
Yep.
I have a drawer full of like 40 different holsters I don't even look at or touch anymore because everybody goes through this, and I didn't believe them when I first got into it. You're literally going to try out everything as you go. And it's funny because I think now, like, I do want to try a chest rig. It'd be pretty cool,
They are neat. They are very neat. It's because
come
it's
in
just
handy.
it's
Yeah.
like people who are out hunting. If you can hunt if you can carry a pistol, Connecticut's weird. You can't have a pistol on state property, but you can on private. So some people who are hunting, they keep that for the bears, because you've got your rifle, but if it's too close, now you've got a backup as your pistol. So they use that in that way too. There's many different uses for it.
Gotcha. I'm going to show 2 photos as well. One for outside. We'll talk about this one first. This is kind of like your standard, right? Your
That's
basic
a
outside
duty.
the way.
That's the duty
That's a
rig.
duty mid
Duty
drop
rig,
rig.
sorry, yeah.
So
With
that's
retention.
that. Yes, and that has the hood, so that's a level 2. Without the hood, it's a level 1, but we do adjustable retention on most.
Gotcha. And the other one, beautiful
That's your
holster.
standard.
That's a chest
Thank
rig.
you.
Yes.
That was done obviously for a former airborne ranger, and he wanted it to show off what he had done. It came out really neat.
Really nice.
Yeah, the color, your products are amazing, and that's going to be the next question that we'll raise is someone who may be new to shooting or new to concealed carrying. How do they know the quality Because it's tough. We talk about this. Sometimes people they don't know what they don't know, or they don't know the right questions to ask. But most people, the first thing they do, I'm going to Amazon. I'm going to get me the cheapest holster that I can.
Yep.
So how do customers compare the quality? What should they look for?
I think it goes along with everything. You get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
Ours, you actually get more than what you're paying for. But we also use the thicker Kydex.
In the industry, holster companies on the thinnest side use 0.60. So it's 60 thousandths Kydex. It's the thinnest material they have out there. And a lot of companies use that because it's cheaper to manufacture. We use 0.08 Kydex, which is pretty much the industry standard. It's in the middle. It's not the thinnest. It's not the thickest. And that is a really perfect balance of durability and I guess the way the longevity and the way the firearm is going to fit in the holster and still, stay intact for a long, long time.
We also use a different product. So Kydex, we call it Kydex. Kydex is in every color, every pattern. There is a product called Bolteron, which is better as far as weather resistant, so cold or heat. So when Kydex it's like any plastic. If it gets too cold, it might crack. If it gets too hot, it might just start to misform a little bit. So where it's possible, and again, it's not possible everywhere, and it's not a huge difference, but with our standard run blacks and a couple of our straight colors, we're able to get this Bolteron, which is the same material that they use in airlines for all their plastics because of the difference in temperatures and stuff. So it's a little bit better, but it doesn't make Kydex bad. Don't get me wrong on that. It's just we do a little extra where we can.
Got it. Makes sense. Our target audience for training is mixed. I mean, the majority, it's security guards becoming armed security guards in New York State, and individuals that may just want to pursue their right to carry. But what about your target audience for your industry?
So
it's everything.
Yeah, it's everyone, really.
And like we were getting to the products and stuff too. So when you get into your security, when you get into your LEOs and your military, if people are coming to us that are running and gunning, I guess for the lack of a better term, but utilizing their holsters more so. So they're rolling around, they have the risk of having to use it more. We will use a thicker Kydex. So we always talk to the people and find out what exactly their needs are. Like, what are you using it for? Which gives them the choice to be able to get a holster that will be more durable than just an everyday carry person who isn't necessarily going to use it all the time. It's going to sit on their hip, but they're not rolling around in the ground like the LEOs are rolling around with criminals, So it really, as far as our audience and like who we get the most, is we have a vast, from beginners to instructors to LEOs to military,
people
everybody
that train extensively use our products, and do force on force training that do all kinds of things.
I remember, Matt, when I was getting my second holster made up, we have like the special one for Guardian for like all of our training. I don't use it. I just show it off.
Yep.
And it's all white. I heard the story, like, nobody touch it. Don't let it hit the floor. Wrap this thing like, 20 things of bubble tape. But those things really do take a beating. Once I got it home, I put it through its paces.
Yep.
It's somewhat white.
Them.
Yeah.
When we started, we didn't just throw stuff out for retail. We've always tested durability. Every holster that goes out, we put it in a holster. We check fit, finish. We put it on, on our belts to make sure they work. So they're not just made and put in a box and sent out. We do check everything, because at the end of the day, these are important tools. And this is going to help you, or whoever purchased them, hopefully help you to be able to be safer and protect yourself better.
in regards to the types of weapons, I think most people are probably going to fall into one of these four categories. It's like sorting people through the Harry Potter schools, but right, you got your Glock fans, you got your Springfield people, your M&P, and your Sig Sauers, but the why is here or there. That's like a personal choice, but you pretty much accommodate every firearm, right?
Yes.
Just about, yeah.
Not revolvers, for the most part, as of yet. We do J-frames, so the Smith & Wesson airweights, the little 38 snubs.
Snub nose.
We're trying to get into more revolvers, but Kydex wheel guns, so revolvers, have the reputation of being more leather people.
Yes.
And now, believe it or not, more and more people are trying to move over to Kydex. But the holster world, as far as molds and stuff like that, have not caught up. So it's a process. I'm working on it.
Okay. Good to know. Out of all of the designs, I probably spent a day looking at your product pages. These were probably like my favorite 6. So I would say like these are my top 6 that I love. Because literally you can do anything. So folks, if you want the American flag, go for it. You want skulls, go for it. You want army colors, go for it. You want graffiti, you name it, they do it. How does this process work? Is it the same as you create all of the other holsters?
Yes.
It's the same process, yes.
Yeah. If somebody, so a lot of those are standard prints that I can purchase. But if somebody comes in, I have people all the time come in with an image that they have found or a picture that they have found, and they want that on their holster. Or somebody wants, I've had guys ask, or people ask for their dog's face on a holster. We do logos like we did with yours. So what happens is if you get me a high res picture, I can then send it to my guy who does, it's called sublimation. So they sublimate the Kydex, the picture onto the Kydex. So it's not a sticker or anything like that. It's into the Kydex. It's printed in, and then we can do that. So we have a regular standard colors and prints, and then we also do custom prints on top of that.
Got it. So folks, information will be down in the chat below. Feel free to scan the QR code. It'll take you directly to their website. Best way to order, should they call the shop? Should they go on your website?
Any way they want to.
Yeah. And, we were talking about this earlier. The owner of Guardian Group Services is a true believer in customer service. And, one of the great things, we talked about this is that you're available, you're reachable. If somebody calls, you pick up the phone. I've been able to reach you on multiple occasions, and emails have been answered, pretty much the same day as well. So folks,
if we're not in the shop, leave a message. We call back everything.
Yep. I've been on the website, folks. I've ordered a few. You should too. Patriotwareholsters.com. Their telephone number is 203-200-9043. I'm trying to follow that along the bottom as we go there. I almost had it memorized. Getting good at that. Or scan the QR code, whatever is easier for you. Really, really cool stuff. The next question I have, and this is kind of something we just started talking about, growth opportunities and challenges. You mentioned the difference between the revolvers. That kind of crowd has always been deemed like, and I don't know why, because it's really not true, like a lot of older dinosaurs, and it's not. It's
it's not.
It's not really.
I gotta say, I had the luxury of shooting a revolver recently. I fell in love. I almost wanted to just go out and buy one right that same day. I just didn't have the money.
Yep.
Trends change, and some things are out. Some ankle holsters were a thing back in the day, in the shoulder rigs, but things change.
There's still a thing. People ask us if we do shoulder holsters with Kydex, and unfortunately we can't. But it's still a big popular mode of carry nowadays.
I think a lot of the the older movies are bringing some of that stuff back as they do the remakes. The Lethal Weapon. That's exactly who I think of.
Well, and some people just truly believe, they like the shoulder rigs because they truly believe they can't find a comfortable holster. So it goes back to the whole reason why we started the company. Is you're right. I didn't think I'd ever find a holster that was comfortable, and inside or outside, it didn't matter. If they were outside, I was hitting the doors as I walked through. They didn't work. And that's That's if you find the right holster, it's amazing. And if you look at our reviews on our Google page, I'm always surprised because this was just fun. Like we got into this because this was fun. And I'm always surprised at how many people say, this is the most comfortable holster I've ever had. And it's like, yes, yes.
For us, what I found out recently on the training side of the business is there, in my eyes, have been a lot more female shooters now carrying
Yes.
every day, and a lot more elderly individuals exercising their right to carry as well. And they're not going to strap something on their hip. They're going to use something that might be a little bit different, which is what you helped me with one of mine. I have like the fanny pack kind of style,
Yep.
which works great. It's very easy to carry for someone who may have some issues carrying all day, or they don't want to strap on a hunk of metal all day. But I've never really understand, because what do you do for females? What is their preferred method of carry? Some have gone for the fanny pack.
Yep. No, you know what? It's funny. And even myself thought, okay, well, like when we opened the business, I had to target women because women tend to not carry. They carry in their pocketbook, which is the worst thing a person can do, in my opinion. But so you try to get it across and try to find some kind of common ground. Well, I'd start off with getting colors and patterns, thinking, oh, the women would love the colors and patterns. No, that's the men's thing. The women want just a black holster.
Yeah.
But we have what's called an ulti-clip option, which, like for leggings and sweatpants and jersey shorts, you can put them in a fanny pack so that it's secure, so it's not bouncing around and your trigger guard is still covered. And it's like a heavy duty suspender clip that just clips onto the waistband. And now that holster stays in your pants. But a lot of men have also moved over into that aspect because they put an inside the waistband holster in their sweatpants. Well, there is nothing grabbing that holster to keep that holster inside the sweatpants. So when they go to draw, they draw the whole holster along with the firearm. Mm-hmm. Or they're so busy trying to keep their pants and their holsters set that they can't pull the gun out. And that's when you seconds count, that's not going to help you much. So we work with that as far as, doing any kind of the ulti-clip aspects to it, which we sell a lot of those, to both genders. And it's also talking to women and finding out sometimes, and outside the waistband, you put a shirt over it. Ours sit very nice and tight to the waist and to the hips. So if you put a shirt over it, you're not printing. It's not like what people think is, oh my God, they're going to know I have a gun. Depending on the gun you have, you may not. So I just talk to the women when they come in, find out where they think that they can't carry and how I can overcome that for them. And we do this a lot. I mean, when customers come in, I have people all the time laugh and they go, I didn't realize I was going to come in and learn so much. I just thought I had to buy a holster. I'm like, you can or you don't have to, but if I can help you to carry, that's what you got a permit for. That's why you chose to buy a firearm. I want to help you. My goal is to have anyone who wants to carry their firearm in defense of themselves or, their family, but do so comfortably and in a way that they appreciate.
It's very well said. Sometimes you're educating the customers as well.
Yes, but they love it.
Yeah. And it's important too, because someone who's new may not know exactly what they need versus what they want when they carry, especially if it's going to be inside the waistband. How is it going to be canted? Do you want the wing? Do you want one with the sidecar? Are you going to carry?
Nobody talks about this. You talk to your friends, they go, oh, I have this holster, or I carry inside, I carry outside, I carry appendix. But they don't explain why or what all those parts are and what the difference is, and whether, you need one that is adjustable, one that's not adjustable. I mean, I remember when I got my permit, I was like, I need a holster. I don't know what that means, but that's what I need.
My first one, was literally, I was in the shop and the owner's like, you need a holster, kid. I'm like, okay. He just put something on the counter. You're buying this. I'm like, I didn't want to say anything. I'm like, okay. I didn't want to cause a ruckus. All right, I'll take
Yeah.
it. You tell me it's good. I'm gonna take it. I'm guessing it's good. Wore it for about a day. I really did not like it. Just it dug into me too much on the side. It was just very, very hard. Really not my style at that time. I also learned I might have to lose a couple of pounds if I want to, be a little more healthier in life and just, carry every day.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you want to switch based on your day-to-day job. I do a lot of walking. I'm sometimes training and standing, and other times I'm sitting in the office all day.
Well, and it's where you're going. Sometimes you want, instead of an outside the waistband that sits on your belt, you want a paddle so it's an easy on, easy off, so you can take it off if you're going into like the post office where you can't carry. And I know the laws differ depending on the state that you're listening to this in, but around here, it's easier. I can lock it in my glove box. I know it's locked up, but I didn't have to undo my belt, take my whole holster off, take my gun off. I didn't have to go through that. It just comes right off. If we're traveling across state lines and you're going from states that I can carry in to states I can't carry in, I don't have to basically undress at a rest stop. I can just take it off, put it in the lockbox, unload it, put it in the lockbox, and lock it up in the back. And nobody's the wiser.
One of my scariest things too, if I had to change holsters for whatever reason, if I was in a vehicle, is somebody going to see me doing that? Is someone now going to call 911? Is now someone going to try and break into my vehicle? So,
and depending on the laws, do they consider that brandishing? Or is that just changing a firearm? You know what I mean? It gets fishy.
Folks, as a reminder, right, we are not giving you legal advice. Every state is different. Check with your local laws and authorities and lawyers. Very, very important. Right. We talked a little bit about the different shows and venues because a lot of people, just think, oh, I can just buy a gun and that's it. Like with 1, 2, 3. There's background checks that you have to do. There's training in some states that you have to do. Some states are concealed carry. Some states are constitutional carry. So every state is a little different. Make sure you know the laws in your state. Also, there are a lot of really cool shows where they, will show off the latest and greatest. I know we were talking about SHOT Show. All the cool toys are out there. Looking forward to going to that one year if I can ever get away. But, I'm going to share a picture. Right? This is, you at a couple of events. Tell us a little bit about these.
Well, the photo on the left, that's us at Crossroads of the West Gun Show. It's out in Phoenix, Arizona. They run about 50,000 people through in a 3-day span. So that's a great opportunity to expand knowledge of our business out to the West Coast. And the photo on the right, that's us. That's a venue we do every year in the summer. It's called Connecticut SWAT Challenge. So it's a competitive challenge between SWAT teams that come into Connecticut from all over the nation to see who can be, the top dog, really. And we showcase our products there. And that's one of our favorite venues because we get so many people that stop by and are just ecstatic that we've come to their event and we offer the type of products that they use on a daily basis, whether it's for off duty, whether it's concealed carry, whether it's undercover, whether it's,
for the
whatever, for SWAT teams.
The belts are a big one there.
The belts are huge there. The battle belts and some of them the duty belts, but that's 2 examples of, what we do, where we go and how we promote our products.
Yeah. That's one thing I love is you're very forward facing, right? You don't rest on your laurels. You are out there. You are really trying to gear up the people with the proper gear that they need. I'm not going to name names, but there are pictures, if you folks want to see them on their website, where people come in and return the holsters that they are not happy with. And they are very happy to run them through their grinding machine. I might have to send you a few.
Well, it always amazes me. I'm like, you could just throw it away at home. But no, they like to bring it to us.
Well, listen, if I get to see it cut up and grinded the way you guys do it, I'm all for that. There's a few other names out there, and like We the People Holsters is one, and Vetter and Vanish and all of them. But to me, it's just kind of like buy it now, click, buy it now, click, buy it now. But with Patriotware, it is a brand, and tell us a little bit about the logo as well. We kind of glossed over that, the Minuteman logo.
Yes.
Love it.
So it was a two-part. So it started off with, we wanted a name, and we're trying to figure out what the name would be. So it's kind of the same story where we were sitting on our back porch, smoking a cigarette, having a conversation about what are we going to name this company. And I wanted it to revolve around patriotism and being a patriot. And so we came up, the word patriot kept coming up, but we couldn't figure out what. And I said, what about wear? But like in housewares, it's patriot wares. Like this, as a patriot, these are your wares. And that's how that was born. And then once we had that, we started thinking, well, what kind of logo should we come up with to go with that? Because we wanted to have everything in set. Because a lot of companies, small business company, businesses, when they open up, they change branding along the way as they grow. And I wanted to have the branding that would just stay with us. I didn't want to change, because as you change, you lose customer base, or it gets confusing to people. You want them to recognize that logo and know who you are. So we were looking just through different images and just
emblems,
looking at different things. And I went, the Minuteman. Now that is the Patriot. That's the Patriots back there. That works. And that's how that happened.
Amazing branding. I love the stickers. I have a poll that I throw a whole bunch of our community stickers, people I buy from. It literally just a whole row of them.
We've seen it. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. People now, literally, it's become like a Brooklyn landmark. Everybody knows where it's at, and they just kind of put their own sticker on there, which is cool. It's become a Brooklyn thing.
That's neat.
So cool. One thing that I've learned, and I give a lot of credit because I belong to a local rod and gun club. My first time kind of joining like a pistol league, and I've had so much fun. I'm terrible at it, but I've had so much fun. I'm like a little puppy dog, like, oh, this is cool. This is cool.
It is cool.
But the importance of training, I didn't realize, is key with this. You could be off by a millimeter or an inch, and it could be either you're grading for a point or you're, fighting for your life.
Correct.
So I have a couple of things that I would say on why having the right gear is important. Number one, it's a tool, right? Just like your firearm is your tool to help defend your life. Or, if you're a competition shooter, you want to make sure you got, top quality gear. But we'd love to get your thoughts, Michelle and Matt, on why having the right gear is important for concealed carry.
So having the right gear for concealed carry is going to keep you safe, and it's going to keep you comfortable. And it's, how do I phrase this?
I know what I would say.
The right gear for concealed carry, it's going to make you comfortable. It's going to make you safe. It's going to make your firearm function the way it should you need it. Mm-hmm. It's just going to improve your overall everyday carry in whatever scenario you happen to be in, whether it's just going to the grocery store, whether it's going to work, whether you're coming home at the end of the night. I mean, I don't know if you want to expound a little bit more.
Well,
it's pretty straightforward, really.
Well, yeah. At the end of the day, you're utilizing this to save your life. You don't want to cheese out. I mean, and holsters they're subjective. Everybody's personal about it. So what works for you may not work for me. My product may not work for you, but just as other products haven't worked for me. But we try to hit the bases, and we try to make sure that you're given the best that we can possibly do, because this is something that you are going to rely on to save your life. So you need, people come in all the time, even when it comes to lights and stuff, weapon lights that they put on their guns, and they want to buy, the $30 Amazon special. And I understand it. Okay. I get it. But at the end of the day, is that really where you want to put your life on the line for, to make sure that works? You want to make sure you have something tried and true. It's not about price, but make sure that you look at how good the product is. Price doesn't matter. Like, we've purposely started, when we started this business, we didn't want to be on the expensive side, because I know that I there's a lot of companies out there that will sell an inside the waistband holster with nothing, and it's $100 or more.
Yeah.
And, and everybody thinks, oh, well, if it's expensive, it's good. Not necessarily. I want somebody to be able to buy as many holsters as they need at a reasonable cost, where I'm covering my costs and my time, but it's not a one and done. You don't come in, buy a holster and go, wow, that was expensive.
Yep.
I'm not going to see you again. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to have people come back and be happy with the product and understand it's a fair price.
Yep.
I definitely got to say, I got a couple of questions in the chat. I'll get to them as well. But folks, I have spent a couple of $100s on holsters easily per holster. And they're sitting in the drawer, the ones I don't use. They're nice. They're sturdy. They just don't kind of fit my daily needs.
They just don't work for you. Yeah.
They just don't work for me. And, the sad thing is they're not returnable. The guys are like, they're open, can't return them. Sorry, you're kind of SOL.
Yeah.
Couple of questions. First one comes up. Are there any plans to do any holsters or cases for rifles and shotguns?
Not at this time.
Pistols, just pistols right now, folks.
Just pistols.
Okay. This is actually a really good question. For women, do they make holsters that attach to bras?
No, we do not currently.
Right.
There are some out there on the market. I think one's called a flashbang, if I remember, that's the name of the holster. Due to how we make things, if you're going to start attaching things to clothing, then we have to get into more equipment. We have to get into different ways that we would make holsters. It's not just a different attachment. It's a whole different ballgame with different machines, and that we're not set up to do at this time.
Yeah, I would kind of say go with the chest rig. Might be a little bit easier to carry that way.
Women know, because we have stuff on our chest.
Very PC, yes.
So for concealability, I understand wanting it on the chest. The difference is, depending on who you are too, any sweat on your firearm can damage your firearm. So these are all things, when it comes to a firearm, you need to look at and weigh out the options.
I've seen, I think, forget who makes it. I forget the brand, but they actually make the holster it's made into the sweatpants now. To me, it just seems kind of weird. Like if you're running, I could just see that falling right out.
There's a lot of concealment carry clothing out there. There is a lot on the
market. Another question. This is a good one too. And I don't know if we've actually touched on this. Do you carry lights, batons, belts, gear, other gear, things like that nature?
Yes, we carry
lights, belts,
not batons.
No.
I'm sure I could get them if you wanted one, but that's not a standard carry that we have. But we do carry we carry Surefire, Streamlight, and Nightstick options for lights. If there's something else, I can possibly get them. And then we carry the Core Essential brand of belts. So we have their everydays. We have the 1.5 inch, the 1 3/4 inch. We have battle belts. We have duty belts. We have leather belts. We have nylon belts. We have belts.
I know Core is a great brand. I know that you've helped some of our security officers kind of get geared up, which was great, and gave them a great discount. Thank you, by the way.
No worries.
You did them right. And, you do tourniquet holders as well?
Yes. For the Cat 7.
Cat 7 tourniquets.
I'm, trying to up my first aid skills. I always tell people, listen, if you're going to put holes in people, you have to know how to like patch them up and, good to know. Or if you have an ND on yourself, you want to, take care of that.
Tourniquets are a great thing to keep on your person
Anywhere,
or in your
car.
Direct access, in your range bag, any of that at all times. But you also have to learn how to use the tourniquet. So that's when, like, I know there's other classes out there. They have the Stop the Bleed classes, which are a fantastic class for that. But once you get to that point, it's a very good thing to have. And, ours sit on the belt. So if you want to carry it, or on your plate carrier, or it can just sit, you can clip it into your range bag, however you wanted to do it.
We started doing Stop the Bleed classes in addition, which, it's a great add-on. You should definitely know first aid, if you're,
yes,
absolutely. To know in general, but, if you're in this world, Ibrahim, good security student. He's got the good question of the day. This was probably geared towards me. What do you need to become a armed security guard? So that's a good question. Every state is different, but in New York State, you first have to have your pistol permit, your security license, and then take the 47-hour armed guard training class. So Ibrahim, if you need any help with that, just contact Guardian Group. We'll be happy to help you along that process. It's a great field. Always going to be work in that industry. Thank you so much. Those are most of the questions that came in. Wanted to say, thank you so much. I can't believe how fast the time went. I mean, it's crazy.
No, it's been great. We could do this forever. We'll do it again.
I really appreciate it. Listen, we definitely look forward to having you come down to New York. Let us know in advance. We'll set up a whole table. You're going to sell some gear. We'll definitely work something out.
Sounds good.
Matt, Michelle, pleasure. I know you're probably trying to get out of the office. You've been working hard, doing a double all day. Appreciate you so much. Any final words, final thoughts?
Just if you have any questions about holsters, reach out. Like we're willing to, if it's a holster you can't find anywhere, we get that a lot. He's your guy. He makes great ones. But if you have questions, if like he said, there's no return policy for most holsters. There's a reason for that. It's the liability. We don't know what's happened to that holster once it's left our premises. But we do our absolute best to get you something that you will be pleased with.
Definitely. And everybody stay safe out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, very important these days. Crazy times ahead. I always live by the saying from the military: stay safe, stay alert, stay alive. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Matt and Michelle, have a great evening.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.